Hey guys, this is a 100 subscriber one shot of My Hero Academia. I have some Dadzawa in there as well, and some, or at least two of these two one shots. I cannot speak. Oh well, but I have at least two chapters of this of Izuku series that I want to put in here because I like it and I found it funny when I read it the first time. Yeah, there's at least 6 in this. So if you don't like some of the disturbing stuff, then I suggest you kind of click on. I will have a eraser mic probably at the end for a little bit of wholesomeness out there. So if you didn't want to listen to the other two, or well, the 5, then I guess you could go down to the last one, which will be like, I'm not sure really. But there are going to be some disturbing stuff, so I suggest if you don't want to like just listen to those one shots, then I guess get to the next one and listen to the next one. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say, and thank you for 100 subscribers, by the way. Really appreciate to get in there and having you guys just come watch these videos and listen to it, and I hope you guys are enjoying them too. And sorry about any background noise, by the way. It's kind of hard to record when like people are gonna be moving around in the background and stuff. I don't know if you guys can like hear some of the background stuff, but yeah. Also, sorry for like any like the glitchy noise in this audio. That is a problem. I don't really have like a recording room. My bedroom's my movie room I record in, so that's kind of the only place I could really like record. And yeah, that's like my bedroom's like the only place I can record, so it's kind of a 50-50 whether the recording audio will have like any static noise or anything like that. So hopefully this doesn't have the static noise, and hopefully I'm just hoping right now. But yeah, bye. Where is home? Silver Mist anime lover. Also, there is abuse in this, and there is currently no warning, so just be aware that there is going to be some abuse, and this is probably not something you like. Then I guess click off, or go and just skip forward until you get to the next one shot. But yeah. Also, don't mind my voice. I do kind of have a sore throat a bit, but yeah. Anyways, let's begin. I saw a sighed as he logged into the server. Goddamn coronavirus. It shut everything down, and he still had to get up at the ass crack of dawn to teach. He was still planning to patrol, so he was just as exhausted as before. At least he could stay home when he taught. Now he was responsible for all his students' lessons, not just homeroom. God, I hate this. At least I could nap beforehand. Warning everyone, he said as he crawled up in the softest blanket in the house. He hadn't bothered climbing out of bed. His students had been a little weirded out at first when he hadn't been wearing his capture weapon, but they'd grown used to it. Honestly, their first lesson had been more of a tour of everyone's bedrooms, as usual. Lydia was the first one on. The others trickled in soon after until he had nearly everyone. Someone had to actually call Aoyama because he's overslept, and the boy logged in without showing his face. "My hair's a disaster. I can't let you see me like this," he insisted. Aizawa sighed. Whatever, as long as his students were all present and accounted for. He started their lesson, while talking around his first cup of coffee. This was the second week of video lessons, and they were all starting to hate it. No particular lesson meant a lot of pent-up energy, but Aizawa had recently gotten permission from Nezu and the Heroics Board to intern his students. "I've got an important announcement," he spoke up, and they all turned their attention to him and away from their phones and notebooks and video game consoles that he knew they were missing, with beyond the camera's view. "I've recently gotten permission to take some of you out on patrol with me. If you're interested in working on practical skills and not falling behind on that aspect, then please email me by tomorrow night. I'll write up a schedule and we'll start rotations. Please keep in mind that I patrol at night. My shifts start at 9 p.m. and end at 5 a.m. You will be expected to attend lessons normally, even after patrol. If I can manage it every night, you can manage it for one." The kids started chattering excitedly, and he noticed Midoriya in particular perk up at the prospect of going out. "Will it be like an actual internship?" "Yes, Midoriya, which means you can engage so as long as I am with you." He sent his proud child a glare. "Can we sign up for more than once a week?" He bounced in his desk chair, and the teacher idly wondered if it was going to break soon. It sounded like he wanted to. "That depends on how many people sign up. Likely no if more than 7 people sign up. Then I'll take people out in pairs. Groups of 3 are allowed to patrol, but nothing more, which means I can only take 2 people at once," he exclaimed tiredly. Midoriya looked disappointed, as did a few others. Probably Aizawa was dreading the thought of spending his nice quiet patrols wrangling in rambunctious teenagers. But he'd rather they continue to gain experience and grow instead of stagnating like they were. They could only do so much with their quirks at home. Although Aizawa had learned that his own quirk worked through a camera, something that he hadn't known before. This and Shinto's quirk. The boy had joined their classes recently, as Mineta had been transferred to 1B. It was now Vlad's problem to deal with. Could work over a speaker, which was good to know. Honestly, Aizawa planned to place Midoriya and Shinso with him in one patrol. In one patrol group. Midoriya may have had brute strength on his side, but he was shockingly good at strategizing. He wanted to nourish that talent because it could save his life one day. He'd been halfway through their English lesson, a language that Aizawa himself abhorred, with every fiber of his being, almost as much as math. When Yamada walked in, "Babe, you haven't eaten anything today," he said before Aizawa could mute the computer. "Babe? No way, Sensei's got a boyfriend? Maybe it's a girlfriend. I don't believe it. Is it a joke?" Aizawa paused in the action of bashing his skull against the headboard of his bed to glare at his husband. Oops. Yeah, oops. He sighed. Yes, I've got a husband. He glared at his class, activating his quirk. It was somewhat satisfying to be able to erase multiple quirks at once. Ooh, working on English. Can I help? Yamada looked like a puppy. Fine. Aizawa turned the computer and the class collectively gasped. No way. Present Mike? You got it, listeners. He grinned, showing off the ring that sat on his finger. We've been married for... Ow! Shota! Don't hit me, he whined when Aizawa threw a pillow at his face. Teach, don't gossip, he glared. You take all the fun out of everything. And Yamada pouted, and Aizawa knew exactly what he wanted. The underground hero sighed, and finally crawled out of his bed. He thought about turning the computer, but the kids knew anyway, so he kissed Yamada on the lips. Good morning, Zashi. He flashed him a small smile. I'm going to grab food and coffee. Please watch my class while I'm gone. He grinned out of sight when he heard his class collectively freak out. It fell when he heard Ashita scream, I got a screenshot! I hate technology. He returned 35 minutes later to his husband, showing off their 4 cats and their backstories. And lastly, this is Rascal. Shota named him that because he's always getting into trouble. The fact that he has to pick out light gray fur from his hero costume always annoys him. I thought you were teaching them English, Aizawa glared. You... Show? I was just showing them different names for things in English. With practical applications. Well, like, this cat is great, and his name is Rascal. He was not impressed. Zashi, don't you have a class to teach too? Nope. Normally I'd have patrol, but my agency cut hours again. I'm on call if anything major happens, but I'm unemployed for the next few weeks. He sent Aizawa a grin. You're stuck with me, so I can help you teach the classes. Yamada cheered. Aizawa groaned. Why do you get one patrol every 2 weeks, but I'm stuck patrolling every fucking night? He didn't care that his students could hear him cuss or complain. He was human too. Damn it. Because you're independent, Yamada explained. Hear that, kiddos? That's the difference between joining an agency and sticking out on your own. Aizawa decided to pick it up. Might as well make a lesson out of this, he sighed normally. This isn't something you'd learn about until your second year, so if it goes over your head a bit, don't sweat it. Aizawa took a swig of his coffee before continuing. Since I'm independent, I can choose my own work hours and patrol route. It limits my pay substantially, but I can choose what missions to take and what to hoist off on other heroes. Unfortunately, you won't get any mission if you don't make a name for yourself. When I started out, I had a lot of crappy jobs. I did a lot of dangerous work. I would never recommend to anyone else. It took me a few years to make the connection I needed to start gathering reliable sources of jobs and the like. My pay is completely dependent on the criminals I bring in. I am paid according to the amount of trouble they've caused and how badly the police want them. If there's any collateral damage, it comes out of my paycheck. First, which is another reason why you will listen to me on patrol. He glared, and several students, Midoriya included, winced. For areas since I joined a well-known and hero agency, I'm paid by the hour, so even when I don't bring in any baddies, I still get a reliable paycheck. I can't set my own hours or patrol routes, though I can put in requests since my agency is well known. They could give me good jobs right out of the gate, and they could team me up with people to help me gain more experience. I get benefits and stuff too. When I do bring in villains, the amount of money they're worth is added on top of my paycheck. Minus collateral damage, of course. Speaking of collateral damage, is practically paid for by my agency rather than the whole thing coming out of my paycheck like show. I'm our main source of income, he winked. On the downside, I can't say no to a job my agency demands of me, and I've signed contracts and stuff, so there are things I just can't legally do. For example, if there was a villain that my agency was keeping an eye on, because he could lead to the capture of an even bigger villain, they might order me to not engage under any circumstances. Then say that I see that same villain hurting someone, because I was given the order I could do nothing about it, but Shota here could do whatever he wanted. Point being, there are benefits and drawbacks to both types of heroes. Aizawa picked back up, keeping in mind what kind you want to be. Even limelight heroes can strike it out on their own. All Might did, and he made his own agency, but not everyone can be like All Might. If you're looking for stable income, go to an agency. If you really don't care about the possibility of being homeless for a bit, which many solo heroes have been there, myself included, then try your luck independent. You've got 2 years to think about this. Sir, if you set up your own hours, then why do you work every day? Ashida tilted her head curiously. Like I said, I'm paid by the villain, not by the hour. So, the more I'm out there, the more villains I can catch. That means I get to eat. Aizawa huffed. That in shows here's really a softie. He couldn't stand the thought of someone being in trouble and not being there to help. Yamada chimed in, ducking under a warning swat from his husband. I'll get my capture weapon, I swear. No gear in the house. You know the rules. Yamada stuck out his tongue. I love this more than I should. Is that bad? Araka asked. I mean, seeing the teachers at home is weird, but it's kind of sweet. Aizawa Sensei isn't as scary anymore. I assure you, I can still expel you. Quarantine or not, Aizawa threatened. You're too mean, Sho, Yamada complained. I'm their homeroom teacher. And you're my husband. Oh, I read that line wrong. I just realized. Fuck. Oh, I'm gonna redo that line real quick. And I'm your husband. If my students tell anyone about that relationship, they'll be scrubbing dishes with lunch rush and bedpans with Recovery Girl for the rest of their schooling at UA. Aizawa promised darkly, and he was glad to see several students gulp. Alright, class. Moving on to the next subject, he sighed, picking up the computer and moving to another room. Math. He glared at the impromptu whiteboard that Yamada had made for this. He'd taken the 17 rolls of packing tape. Why they even owned that many, Aizawa had no idea. And covered a good section of the wall of their living room with it, so he had an erasable surface to write on. It didn't take all 17 rolls, but Aizawa wasn't looking forward to pulling it off the walls when they were done either. God, how he hated math. He typically just wrote out a bunch of problems he got from ectoplasm's packet and scribbled it down on the wall for the students to solve. If they needed help, he'd do his best. Never mind the fact that he had to take the occasional moment to text ectoplasm for help, even though the hero was typically on patrol these days. He typically turned the volume down so he didn't have to talk over them. He could still hear them, though. Jiro had music playing in the background, and Aizawa really didn't mind. He never admitted it aloud, but he liked rock and jazz. Blues, some country, really, he liked just about anything. Yes, including Nyan Cat. Midoriya, can you answer question 5? He turned to the screen when he didn't hear an answer. Midoriya was typically his most attentive student, and he could usually count on him to answer whatever the class couldn't. The kid looked distracted. Aizawa turned up the volume as the other students got Midoriya's attention. Was that his imagination, or was there a sheen of makeup on his problem child's face? Oh, sorry, Sensei. Yeah, I can answer. He turned his head a bit, as if reacting to something. Jiro turned off her music, and suddenly the sound came through his computer. Speakers loud and clear. It sounded like a man and woman arguing in the background. Actually, Sensei, can someone else answer that? I'm sorry. Okay, something was wrong. That look, those subtle shifts of body language. His student was hurt, and with quarantine in place, he knew Midoriya hadn't left that house. Deku, what the fuck? Who the hell is that? Midoriya, are you safe? His question was lost amongst his classmates. But the kid seemed to hear Bakugo's question. Dad's home. Aizawa's stomach plummeted, especially when he saw fear crawl across the explosive blonde's face. What? Stay right there. I'm on my way. Bakugo made to get up. No, Bakugo, he said, his voice strong. His student could get in very big trouble for being out during times like this. I'll go. Midoriya, stay where you are. Call my private number, okay? The other students stared, flipping out, but Midoriya just apologized with a sad smile and locked out. Class is canceled for the day. Bakugo, I swear to God, if you don't stay home, I'll fine you myself. He then logged himself out. Sho? Yamada asked, confused. What's going on? I'm heading to Midoriya's house. It appears his father is home, and it sounds like domestic violence. Yamada winced. I'll come along. Then hurry up, because I'm not waiting. He picked up his phone before it had finished. The first ring. Problem child, you're hurt. It's... no. Please don't lie to me. He tossed his capture weapon on and ran out the door. Yamada would lock it. Just a few bruises and some minor burns. His quirk lets him breathe fire. And your brother? He heard the fighting in the background and sound of something being hit. I'm on my way. Can you stay on the phone with me? He was running across rooftops as fast as he could. He would get there in less than 10 minutes. Yeah. How long has he been home? About a week. It was fine at first. I mean, I'd never met the guy, but apparently he drinks a lot. Aizawa winced. Not ideal. He pulled out his hero phone to contact Sakachi and tell him to send a unit over for an arrest. Can you barricade your door so he doesn't come in? I need to make sure you're safe. Yeah. He knew Midoriya would hate to leave his mother like that, but he had to make sure that his student was okay. It's done. I have no idea if it'll hold him out, but a sudden loud banging noise made his student jump. He's trying to get in. Stay calm. That you're in class. But stay calm. Explain that you're in class. Do not tell him a pro is on their way. Dad, I can't open the door right now. I'm in school. He heard an indistinguishable yelling from the other side, and some more banging, but it wasn't as harsh. Worthless brat. No food. Stay in there. All I care. Aizawa was not liking the implications of this. No one in Midoriya had jumped at the chance to patrol. He crouched outside the apartment complex. Midoriya, I need to know which window is yours. Can you open it? He watched as his student approached a window on the 3rd floor and opened it as directed. He caught sight of Aizawa, and there was a relieved smile. He quickly scaled the building and slipped into the window. Hanging up the phone, Midoriya hugged him. He was momentarily shocked before he returned the gesture. The kid was trembling. It's okay, Midoriya. You're safe now. He took a quick glance around. Of course his problem child had memorabilia for damn near every hero out there. And is that an Eraserhead figure? He raised an eyebrow as Midoriya flushed bright red. Eternally he smiled as Midoriya started babbling excuses. He was calming down quickly. He moved the bookcase out of the way and cautiously opened the door. There was rather loud yelling coming from the kitchen. Aizawa made a gesture for Midoriya to stay put. Zashi's on his way, he informed him. Let him in the same way I came in, okay? Right. And please remind him to be quiet. His son smiled a little, and Aizawa counted that as a win. He silently closed the door behind him and snuck down the hallway. Midoriya Inko stood there, facing a dark-haired man with a head full of curls who had smoke billowing from his mouth. She was bruised and terrified. You really expect me to believe that carkless piece of shit got into UA? What do you fucking take me for, you bitch? He went to hit her again, but Aizawa would have none of that. His capture weapon caught the fist that Inko cowered away from. Aizawa ran forward, quirk active, and punched the man in the face. He reared back, startling as he tried and failed to activate his quirk. It really didn't take much for Aizawa to incapacitate him with his capture weapon. He then pulled out a pair of quirk-suppressing handcuffs, standard gear for all heroes, and put them on, finally blinking. Who the fuck are you? The man glared, struggling against his restraints. Oh, you're Izuku's teacher, Inko realized. That's right, pro hero Eraserhead. He smirked a little as the man stilled. Midoriya? It's okay, you can come out now. His student stepped out alongside Mike, whose hair was still down as he hadn't had the time to gel it up. Mom! Midoriya ran over to Inko, who embraced him in a hug. Aizawa leaned against Yamada for some emotional support. He felt tired. Tsukachi came by a little while later and took Midoriya Hizashi away, but Midoriya spoke up startlingly the heroes a bit. He had friends that would come over. They'd drink together, too. I got pictures. He scrolled through his phone and showed Tsukachi, who stiffened. God damn it. He pinched his nose before showing Aizawa and Yamada. That gave me bad vibes, and I heard some things that they said that didn't sound right, so I wondered if maybe they were someone to worry about. They're villains, Yamada said, and the fact that they know where you live is worrying. I'm sorry, but until they're caught, it'd probably be safer for you to stay elsewhere. Do you have any friends or family nearby? Tsukachi asked. No, I mean Mitsuki, but Inko shook her head. I have no family, and I wouldn't want them to target Mitsuki and her family. That's Bakugo's mom, Midoriya explained. Ah, that made sense. He looked over at his husband when Yamada rudely elbowed him in the ribs. We could, Yamada sighed. What do you mean, we could? It's not like we don't have space. Zashi. And you know, it wouldn't be that bad. Aizawa sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose for a moment. His husband was right. It would be safer staying with heroes for the time being, he said, and Midoriya's head whipped up in surprise. I know it's weird, but you two can stay with us until this blows over. If you don't mind cats. We've got a 4-bedroom house with only 2 rooms in use. If it's no imposition, Inko flushed. Not at all, Miss Yamada, to rescue. God, Aizawa hated social interaction. My husband and I would love to have you. Great, now that that's settled, Tsukachi scribbled a few things down. It took another hour to wrap everything up, and a further 3 for the two to pack everything. Luckily, Yamada brought the car, so he wouldn't have to roof hop a civilian with luggage back home. Thank you for having us, Inka smiled as they stepped in through the door. Midoriya looked around curiously. It's different in person. He smiled a little. Help yourself to anything in the fridge, except Shota's energy jelly packs. He guards those more than Pepper guards her food. Yamada chuckled as said cat curiously greeted the 2 newcomers. And Midoriya-san, please just call me Inko. Right. Help yourself as well. Feel free to use the kitchen or whatever. Just don't touch the workshop. Workshop? Midoriya questioned. Zashi likes to make support gear, Aizawa explained, and drop the sensei in the house. It's weird hearing it at home. Aizawa's fine. Okay. He smiled before his phone rang. He picked it up. Kachan, I'm fine, really. No, I'm not home. I'm actually staying with Aizawa for a bit. Yeah, Mom's fine. No, he's going to jail. Kachan, you can't murder someone in jail. That's wrong. Yes, blowing him up will kill him. Aizawa snorted. It was an amusing conversation, to say the least. Oh my. Inko giggled a bit. Yamada showed her around. It was highly likely the 2 Midoriyas would be staying with them for the remainder of quarantine, but that was fine by him. He could think of other students he'd be worse off with. Bakugo in particular came to mind. Or Ashido. At least Midoriya was respectful and quiet. And at least now he knew Midoriya would be safe. Class was going to be weird tomorrow. That was the My Hero Academia My Hero Academia first one-shot of this video for 100 subs. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go get the other one now pulled up and start reading that, so, yeah. I decided to save the other parts for like when we reach 200 and 300 and so on. So you'll get other one-shots of My Hero Academia and probably some Marvel and probably some Harry Potter and other fan fiction So, if you guys have any recommended ones that you'd like me to read, that'd be great to hear your opinions on which one you want the most. Anyways, I'm going to go now. Also, I hope you liked the new profile picture on my YouTube. Yeah. Bye.